Albay 1st District Representative Edsel Lagman says President Rodrigo Duterte's revocation of the amnesty granted to Senator Antonio Trillanes IV has, quote, no legal and factual basis. The lawmaker says then-President Benigno Aquino III's Proclamation No. 75, which granted amnesty to Trillanes in 2010, does not provide for any revocation clause. On August 31, Duterte signed Proclamation No. 572 declaring Trillanes' amnesty void ab initio. Lagman explains the presidential declaration of amnesty needs the concurrence of the majority of all members of both the House and the Senate. Revoking the amnesty, if allowable, needs the same congressional concurrence. But Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara disagrees. He says Congress concurrence is not needed because Trillanes' amnesty is void ab initio. It never had a legal effect from the start. Meanwhile, Edre Olalia of the National Union of People's Lawyers says Duterte is reinventing or redefining the law to suit political agenda. Former President Benigno Aquino III says the Duterte administration should respect and recognize the amnesty granted to Trillanes. Malacañang claims the revocation of Senator Sonny Trillanes' amnesty has nothing to do with politics, but everything to do with the rule of law. Malacañang also says the amnesty was only granted to the senator during the previous administration because he had good ties with then-President Benigno Aquino III. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says the review of Trillanes' case has been ongoing for 2 years. He says the Duterte administration scoured the records to check if the senator really did file an application. But in a privileged speech in the Senate, Trillanes shows a video of himself applying for amnesty. When asked how Trillanes' application could be missing when media had covered his filing for amnesty, Roque says, "We're relying on official records. There's no substitute for that." Department of National Defense spokesman Arsenio Andolong says there is no available copy of the amnesty application of the senator. Opposition Senator Sonny Trillanes says he is not afraid to face arrest after Rodrigo Duterte revoked his amnesty granted in 2010.
Pero hindi ko iwasan yan. Mr. Duterte, hindi ako takot sa'yo. I will not resist arrest. I will not escape.
Duterte signed Proclamation No. 572 declaring Trillanes' amnesty void ab initio. Trillanes calls Duterte's order bogus, saying that the grant of an amnesty is an act of Congress and could not be superseded by an executive order. Trillanes also accused Solicitor General Jose Calida of masterminding the revocation. Trillanes initiated a probe into Calida's conflict of interest in government contracts.
Alam nyo, ito si Mr. Calida yung gumawa nito eh. At syempre, gustong-gusto nitong amo niya ni Duterte. Kaya they've been trying everything to stop this hearing na ikakanta ko, no? Against Mr. Calida.
But Calida was evasive when asked about his role in voiding of Trillanes' amnesty.
We have such a thing as privileged communication between a lawyer and the client.
Typhoon Jebi makes landfall in Japan Tuesday, September 4. It is the strongest typhoon to hit Japan in 25 years. Typhoon Jebi has winds of up to 162 kilometers per hour at its center. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe urges people to evacuate early and orders his government to take all necessary measures to protect residents. As the storm approaches, Abe calls for a disaster response meeting and cancels a trip to Western Japan. He instructs his cabinet to take all measures possible. Japan is currently in its annual typhoon season. A kindergarten principal in China, trying to liven up a formal back-to-school ceremony with a racy pole dancer, was fired after angry parents lit up social media with complaints. Videos circulating on social media show a scantily clad dancer shimmying up and down a pole as stunned children looked on. Other kids tried to mimic the sultry moves. In the background, shocked parents could be heard commenting about the suitability of the performance. Many threatened to pull their children out of school and called for Principal Lai Rong's resignation. In a text message to parents, Lai apologized for the horrific viewing experience and for not checking the dancer's performance. Hours later, local education authorities announced Lai had been fired and Shan Xiaohui School is under investigation.